people really search for one thing. And let me get this. And I know what every one of the listeners wants when it comes to health. That's what they want. You say, people don't realize they don't want to not be sick. They want to be healthy. And if I ask every person, no matter where I speak, say, who wants to be healthy? Everybody raises their hand. Okay. For the kids, their families, everything like that. But I'm going to tell you right now that our current form of healthcare system will never help you accomplish that. Now, that's a very bold thing to say, but and I created an analogy to give you an example of why that would happen. Because I started practicing this way, but it didn't make a lot of sense because people couldn't really distinguish the difference. So I said, I want you to picture like medicine like they're the fire department. If somebody has cancer, heart disease, something they could die from, let's call it a fire. You know, the fire department uses axes and hoses, drugs or surgery to put out the fire. And you may even survive. So if you had a heart attack right now, I would actually call 911 for you, hopefully get you to the emergency room, use drugs or surgery to keep you alive. God bless. We have a great system. That way we rank one of the best in the world. We actually think we rank second in the world. But here's what happens. If the wonderful doctors, surgeons, anesthesiologists, nurses do a wonderful job of saving your life, what happens is this. They never found out what caused your fire. And on top of it, here's what happens this. They don't do anything to help rebuild the house. They leave you with a burnt up house. And then what they do is even worse, is they say, we're going to water your house down every single day for the rest of your life. Don't believe me? Have a heart attack and say, how long do you have to take this cholesterol drug, aspirin, and all these things? Forever. Okay. Well, if I sprayed your house down every single day, your chance of having a fire would be a lot less, but it would rot your house out. So today we have more doctors, hospitals, government involvement in everything in history across the world. Yet we have more heart disease, cancer, diabetes, infertility, every condition in the world. Because you know why? We're in so dominant fire department thinking, aka medical thinking, that we have a bunch of rotten people running around like crazy, yet we have more medical and natural things ever in history. So when I realized that the medical profession, the fire department people were trying to take care of me as a young kid, or my wife who actually suffered from endometriosis, ulcerative colitis, cystic acne, and cluster headaches, they only have one method of drugs or surgery, axes and hoses. And when that doesn't work, they say there's nothing you can do. So I said, listen, what if I could actually figure out what each house needs, rebuild it, find out what causes fires, and get it back to normal. And I started to do things so dramatically different than anybody ever did before I started doing this. And no joke, I had to create this myself. And what happened was I started with clinical results that nobody else got. So I went from one little office in Green Bay, Wisconsin, to well over 100 offices across the world now and growing every single month because, especially with COVID, we need more carpenter doctors in history because a strong house, doesn't matter what virus comes in, it'll kick it out like a cold. A burnt up weak house, which is most people, they freak out over a little protein and fatty acid.